and welcome to the Ignite Into Your Purpose show. I'm Patricia Thompson.
And I'm Yolanda Troop Smith. And we are so excited to have a wonderful guest with us today. She is a newlywed, believe it or not, just a few months ago. She married and to a wonderful guy. His name is Mr. Vincent Johnson. I know him, wonderful man, wonderful man. She's also the mother of three beautiful children. It is Victoria, Samaya, and Victor.
Yes.
All right. Tanaya holds a bachelor's degree in finance and marketing from the University of Florida and a master's in education from the University of Central Florida. She fell in love with real estate in 1999 and has been a licensed realtor in Florida in 2006 and in Georgia in 2018. You've been around a while in this industry. She presently works for the Keller Williams Chattahoochee North Real Estate Agency, and recently she actually got a wonderful award, and it is one of those that's pretty hard to get. It's the top producer in real estate. Congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
I know that was a lot of work. And recently, she is leading many of us in a different lane of being educated in the arena of real estate and buying and selling homes. So we want to welcome today Tanaya Peters Johnson.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are so glad to have you.
Yes.
As I read through so many of the different things, not just what I actually used to introduce you, but so many other things that would let the audience know how you've really been trained well by the Father to be able to do the things that you do. So I had a couple of questions that I wanted to kind of get you to share that wonderful information with us, because we get to see again another amazing story that God has allowed us to have on our Ignite Into Your Purpose show. So the first thing that I kind of wanted you to tell me was I had a few notes here that said you love helping people, you love business, you love real estate, and you love teaching.
Yes.
And that because of all of that together, it has helped you to specialize in educating people for the real estate, for the buying and the selling, and not just taking us through the process of put your name on the dotted line and let's keep it moving, but to really educate us. So how in the world, what road did you travel on? I've heard the actual, a couple of the statements I've made, but what kind of road was that to get you to the point where you're so knowledgeable and you have so many loves?
Well, I think it probably starts with my master's degree in teaching. So that really helped me to become a teacher and to take the teaching part of real estate, which I think is the scary part for a lot of people. Real estate can be a difficult thing, especially for first-time home buyers. And so being able to walk them through the process bit by bit, I tell people I'm going to hold your hand and teach you everything that you need to know. If you have any question, no question's a dumb question. Ask me everything so that you feel confident. So I definitely think that's where it started for me.
Okay, the teaching. Now, how did you get the love for real estate? The love for wanting to jump into that arena, because most people I know, they'll go, oh, I think the funding is beneficial, but you have to know so much, and you have to. They tell me it's a lot of work to be able to get those licenses. So how did you love that?
Well, I think at first real estate seemed really easy. When I was married, we bought things together and it seemed simple. And then I got divorced. And then it felt different. That first purchase on my own was terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it and then I said no. And then I'd pick up the phone and then I'd hang it up. And so that's for me, I think, is where the love for it really came in, having to do it myself, because I had a different perspective of buying. It was easy before. I was like, of course, we do this. It's simple. I can do it. But that time around, having to do it on my own with that fear and having to work through that, I took that into my business and worked with my clients to understand that fear and to want to take that fear away from every person, especially single moms and single teachers. Teachers don't make a lot. And I was a part-time teacher, and trying to figure out how I was going to buy that house by myself was terrifying. And I never wanted anybody else to feel that way.
Did you have to do lots of research or whatever to be able to handle it, or you just plunged in and read, or what did you end up doing to?
Well, I just plunge in. That is me.
Just plunge in and
I
read?
plunge in. I figured out, the saving piece of it, how much money I needed to save. And I made a lot of phone calls, talked to people. That's how I get educated. I find out who knows the answer, and I call and I ask questions.
And what I love about that is you are able to relate to a lot of different situations because you went through them. God blessed you to figure out how to come out of them with victory, though. You didn't come out with defeat. You got that house. You got those things.
Yes.
What is your area that you, cover as far as selling houses? Is it just all over? What, so the viewers, if they're interested after, we go through this particular episode, they'll know, oh, okay, she can give me what I need. Is there a specific area?
Well, so I cover the state of Georgia. I tell everybody that I do cover the entire state of Georgia as a licensed realtor, primarily Fulton County, so and the surrounding counties. It's where I specialize. But again, as a real estate agent, I can help you anywhere. Like I have a client right now in Jersey that's moving to Atlanta. I will help him find a Jersey agent as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good to know.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good to know. Now, what could you tell our viewers that would, and we've heard a lot of it now that I feel that kind of sets you apart, but what would be that going away, because we're going to do a commercial break in a little bit here, and I kind of want to set us up for it. What is it about you that would make them say, now listen, I need to call that number because she is really a different person in real estate? What would that be that you could leave with them?
I tell people I like to sit and have a conversation and really get inside your head to help you understand, or to help me understand what it is that you're looking for, right? So a lot of times we have fears, and we put those fears out there. Well, I don't think I can do that. I can't afford that, or maybe I'm not going to get that. I won't get the great school. And so I sit with you and help you to figure out the I can't and I won't to I can and I will. Yes, let's do it. And that's my goal, is to make every client feel excited about the transaction as opposed to feeling worried or scared.
And we do need to hear it. We want to change from I can't to I can.
Right.
Everybody wants to be able to do that. Yeah. And then there's one little thing that you started that amazed me when I kind of read about it, and that is that you host the home buying breakfast. What is that?
Yes. So again, like I said, I used to be a teacher, and so that's near and dear to my heart. And food was near and dear to my heart as a teacher because we don't have a lot of time to eat. And so, like I said, I took those two things together, making sure that I provided a breakfast just to say thank you, you're appreciated, and also to provide that knowledge, to a group of people that it is difficult to purchase, given the amount of money that teachers make and the price point of homes these days. So helping them to understand that there is funding out there to help them. There's 0% down loans, lots of different avenues so that teachers can buy homes. And that's important to me. Not only teachers, but all of our heroes can find themselves in a position where they can afford a home.
So in that session, scared, nervous teachers have a dream but don't know how to make it come true. Did you talk about things like credit scores? Did you discuss with them things like financing? How about all that lingo in the contracts that I remember looking at some of that saying, oh my God, I need the dictionary to look up everything so I can understand what I'm reading, and then I can go back and probably do the contract. Right. The financing, the lingo, the credit scores, all of that, it makes you nervous. So in that session with the teachers, are they at liberty to ask about all of that? Do you kind of address any of that?
Absolutely. High level. I think that's where my teaching comes in at, is to tell them, high level, exactly what you need. And then we meet one-on-one, right? And I meet several times with my clients one-on-one to make sure that anything that you didn't understand in the seminar, we go over to personalize the situation for you.
Wow. So they get overall, and then they get a one-on-one, and that's amazing. How about even about the closing table? Because that, you talk about that as well?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it is amazing what we've learned. We can't wait to come back after the commercial break and dig a little deeper into the amazing story of Tanaya Peters Johnson. We'll be back after this commercial break.
Have you ever wondered how Warren Buffett became rich? Or how the first mutual funds made their investors wealthy? How do you decide which companies to invest in? And when is the best time to invest? The Common Man Financial Guide contains all of that and more. Included are the techniques used by the most renowned financial experts demonstrating how to navigate in down as well as up markets, teaching you how to make money work for you. Don't delay. Order your copy today. Order information on screen.
Welcome back to the Ignite Into Your Purpose show. We are still talking to Ms. Tanaya. Tanaya, we've heard so many wonderful things about your background, your education, and how you work with clients throughout your through the real estate. However, through that journey, I know you have experienced some things in your life, and there were times when you probably felt devalued. But I want to talk about that and talk about how people might have devalued you, but then you found a value in Christ. And so can you go into that and elaborate a little bit more with us, your testimony and how you were able to deal with that process and how you held on to your faith?
Okay, I think I probably devalued myself, thinking that I wasn't important anymore. I found my self-worth in being a mother and being a wife. And getting divorced, that was definitely a time where I kind of felt lost, right? I got married at 21. So, and I was married for 17 years. So it was a large part of my life. And Christ was a large part of my life. And I kind of felt lost, especially when I made the decision. I'm not sure how you all felt, but when I made the decision to get a divorce, I kind of felt pulled from Christ at that point, and that I wasn't making him happy anymore. And so that was really a definitely difficult, challenging time in my life to make peace with who I was, what I had done, and what Christ had planned for me going forward.
Ooh, yes, I can.
I totally understand. I went through a divorce after 30 plus years of marriage. I married at an early age, 21 as well.
Oh, okay.
Same thing. Had a son, raising my son, and then I had 2 other additional children. However, that home buying process that you're talking about, I experienced it. What am I going to do? How am I going to get the financing to do this? And so it is a big journey for you too. And then you feel like, I have failed Christ. What have I done?
Right.
You know, how do I release what I'm feeling and be able to understand that Christ is really with me, asking for forgiveness for that other person. And that was the first step for me. And so just listening to you and just how you were working with people, and you took your educational background, and then you also looked into, how can I value myself a little more and understand that Christ still loves me regardless of what has happened in my life. And that's important.
Yes.
And every time we mention divorce, I go back in my mind. I, was divorced as well, and you go back to the same thing. I feel worthless and not priceless. Like God wants me to feel, because a part of me has been cut off. And I feel so like a missing part. Isn't there? And it's hard to have joy at that time in your life. So I believe if you are a Christian, if you do know Jesus, at that time you will run to him like never before, because that is where you're going to find your peace. That's the only place you'll find your peace, because you got to get the peace before all the pieces of the puzzle are put back together.
Yes.
You don't get the puzzle put together and then you got peace. That isn't how he works. So you got to allow him to give you that peace so he can work on you and continue to put that beautiful puzzle that he has about each of our lives.
And to ignite you into your purpose.
That's it. Because honestly, I can tell you, when I was at my lowest low, God began to talk to me about the things that he had put in me that were lying dormant, that I was not allowing him to put on fire, so that I could go about living my life the way he predestined and ordained it to be. So that time of divorce and that sadness, you're so busy trying to get to him to get peace. You are open, you are listening, you can hear him talking now. And he begins to lay it on you. All the things that you need to allow him to switch, change, prune you, so you can blossom
Yes.
and bloom and be everything he wants you to be. Is so great and such a big smile now when we talk about it. But back then, you were in a bad state. And so when we see you now, the honors, the program you started, the ladies that God has allowed you to help so that they can move on up a little higher into the things that he has for them, that move ignited you on up a little higher. And this is a saying I love: if you take care of his business, he'll take care of your business. I love it. And so as I'm letting him use me, he fixes things for me, and I look up and I'm soaring and not sinking.
And then I hear that you just got married. And so God blessed you with a wonderful husband. And so that's the beauty of all the things that God do for you. You just got to trust and rest in his word, right? So tell us about this wonderful wedding. I heard it was in Costa Rica.
It was.
That's nice.
Yes, it was a beautiful wedding. Yolanda was there. She sang. Her and her husband made it a beautiful ceremony for us. So yes, my husband and I met about 3 years ago.
Okay.
God blessed him. He brought him into my world. We met by happenstance, and the day that I met him, he told me, "I'm going to marry you. God brought you into my life, and you're going to be my wife." And I kind of rolled my eyes and was like, "No, I'm not," because I was still in that place.
Excuse me?
No, I was still praying. I was still asking for God to order my steps, and this man came into my space. But we were in the same place of we just want to get to know each other, and just see what God had in store for us. And beautifully so, he did have in store for us to marry.
And I'm telling you, it was unbelievable. And for him to say right there in front of us all, where we were had a time for dinner, because I had not met him. I just knew Tanaya, and I was like, okay, Lord. We're going to see this man. See who this man is. And so when we get there, he talks about, I asked the Lord, to give me a wife. And it was just tear jerking. And he said, and I saw her. And I knew she was the one, and he knew immediately, which, when people come to you and say that, you be like, the devil is a lie. I know God didn't tell you that. I just met you, So when people come up and tell you that, you're like, not really, So, but what was amazing is it didn't it slow him down at all. It didn't distract him at all. He continued. It's amazing. And I kind of share this a lot when I go places. That the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, their good thing. And so when the man finds his good thing, it's no stopping him, because he knows this is it. What God kind of shared with me during my divorce was a lot of times, we ladies see someone and we feel like he's our good thing, and we say, shoot, she's not talking to me, I'm gonna talk to him, and we kind of find ourselves kind of stretching out there. Hi, how are you? Chatting with them, hoping they want our number or passing them our number, all the kind of little things we do. And then later we find out that was not Mr. Right, because, he was my good thing, but I wasn't his good thing. So if something came along, if the real thing, his good thing came along, he would forget about me. So, like, God, let me let you handle this, so that when it's a done deal, it's a done deal from above. And it's just amazing how I was able to witness that. And it was just beautiful. Let God do it. If I want to say anything to the audience, let God set you up, because it is amazing when he does it.
Which leads us to a third question.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
And it's talking about the 3 things that an individual have to deal with when you're reaching your fullest potential and making wise choices. And it sounds like you've made a lot of great choices in your life, and wise choices. And then some of the other questions are understanding God's vision for your life and following God's discipline and direction. So do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I think for me, in following God's direction is when I learned to pray. Rather than asking God for things or telling him what I wanted, I started to pray about him just ordering my steps and helping me to be obedient and following what he ordered. And so I think that is kind of how I came into my purpose. It's kind of one of those things where becoming a real estate agent, it just popped up. I was teaching at the time. I was taking care of my children, and being a real estate agent was far out there. I told my mother I wanted to do it, and she said, why? Do you know how many agents there are out there? There's hundreds of agents out there. Like, what's going to make you special? What's going to make you different? Why do you think you can do this? And at the time, I didn't have an answer to it. For me, I don't know. Honestly, I just knew that God told me, this is what you need to do. How am I going to be able to afford to take care of these children? How am I going to be able to afford a house? That was what I prayed about, and this is what God continued to show me. So,
pointing you totally into that direction continually.
It took me quite some time. The first time I tried to, I actually tried to get my real estate license to sell our family house when I was getting a divorce. That was my idea. I'll take the commission from that. That'll be a good starting point. I couldn't get my head straight enough in order to get that test taken. And so it actually took me several times to sit down and decide, I'd go back to God. Well, what am I supposed to do? And I feel like he would tell me, I told you what to do already. I told you to get your real estate license. So I would have to go at it again. And this time, the second time I went at it and I didn't stop. And then I got nervous when it was time to take the test, and prayed again. And again, I really felt like I kept hearing, I just told you to do it. So don't even worry about it. So I took a deep breath and just signed up for it, passed it. There's a second test you have to take. I didn't wait. I just signed up. I said, this is what God told me to do. So we're just going to keep moving forward. And when I got that momentum of just, I'm trusting him, this is what he has for me, that's when it got better.
Amazing. And I'm telling you, when she helped us sell our home, it was just beautiful. She has a calm, cool, caring, thorough, excellent spirit. And so what happened was a gentleman that my husband knows recommended her. And we were looking at someone else. And so I've never told you the story. And so he comes home and says, well, my friend says this lady's, going to be a great person. And, we're going to go on with her. And I was like, well, who is this? Why'd you come up with this lady? In my mind, I'm like, what did that lady say to you all over there? It made you change your mind from, the realtor that we had decided that we were going to work with. I'm like, what in the world? And he was like,
common spirit.
Trust me. I said, yeah, you've been a pretty good guy. I trust you. He was like, trust me, And so then when I met her, I said, oh my goodness. Okay, I see, I feel, the wonderful spirit, and always call me. Call me if you need me. You have any questions? No question is crazy. You can ask me any question, anytime. It's just always like that, just the same way. And then when I met her in different arenas, the same character, all over. So just a beautiful person. And just when you get the opportunity to see God take people from the worthless, as we feel, to priceless, that he puts upon us, taking that worthless cloak off and putting the priceless cloak on and letting us and igniting us into our purpose. And it's a purpose that is unbelievable, and as he said, prosperous and in good health. Oh, it's amazing. And we just had to tell that story. I want to make sure that, do you feel like you've been doing what the Lord told you to do? You feel like you're walking in your purpose? You feel like you're operating at your fullest potential, or has he been telling you there's even more?
I do feel like he's telling me there's more. Actually, I'm at that point right now where I feel like he's telling me there's more, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. And I think it, again, for me, always goes back to helping people. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, is how now, where I am financially and comfortable and married and happy woman, now what do I do? What's out there more for me to do to make other people feel what I feel now?
And as I go back to one of the statements that I saw in reading some things, she has a website and all that. It did, and I think I left that out when I was speaking. It said, I love helping people. She said, I love real estate. She said, I love teaching, And I was like, she just loves a lot of stuff. But I left out that she did say helping people and business. That's what it was. She said, I love helping people. I love business. I love real estate. And I llove teaching. I was like, she loves a lot of stuff.
And actually, you can go back to some of these teachers, and like you said, they, you have that fear of, do I make enough money? What programs are out there? So that could be a great market for you to go back to a lot of the administrators, some of the teachers that you dealt with in the past, and just kind of help them walk through that process
Right.
of real estate, how to buy a home, what do you need to do, so that could be an idea. One of your
It is.
one of
So
the
that's her breakfast seminar, right?
Right.
That's
Oh,
what it
that's
is.
the breakfast
That's the
seminar.
But I have stopped with COVID. That kind of stopped us,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I think it is
Mhm.
time probably to get back, getting back out there.
Oh, yeah,
And today
absolutely.
was your springboard, wasn't it?
It seems like it
Today
is.
was your springboard to get started back at that. Amazing. Every lady that I know from now on that is in my circle, I'm going to make sure I let them know
Yes.
that hey, if you've told me you want a home, but you're afraid and so forth. Hey, I got somebody you can talk to. There's a seminar you can go to,
Yes,
and then you get
that's
a
right.
one-on-one after that. It's just amazing. So I'm excited that you stopped by to share that story with us, and I just want the viewers to know that hey, God is a great God, and there's nothing that we have to fear. He's given us power, love, and a sound mind, and given us direction to get all the help that we need to do all the things that we desire to do. And right here, we got all the help that we need on the real estate road. Isn't that awesome?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
Thank you
it's
so much
awesome.
for
It's
joining us.
awesome.
We really appreciate
We
you coming out
thank
with
you.
us.
We thank you for that. Not just sharing with us, but being who God has created you to be. Walking in that purpose is a wonderful thing. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And Pat and I have, our own story where when we got into our situations where things were not at the best, they were probably at the worst in our lives. It did the same thing. It draws you to Jesus. If you know him, it'll draw you to Jesus, and it will take you to higher heights and deeper depths. We are just so thankful that we actually had the opportunity to hear the amazing story of Tanaya Peters Johnson. We want to just make sure that all of that information is going to be on the bottom of the screen. So how would you like for them to connect with you?
Okay, well, there's plenty of ways to connect with me. One, I have my website, which is www.tanayapeters.com. By email, I'm tanaya@tanayapeters.com, and you're always welcome to give me a call, 770-998-7706.
All of that information will be on the bottom of the screen. We thank you for tuning in with us today, and we'll see you next time on Ignite into Your Purpose.
Hi, I'm Alex Ming, CPA and a principal in Seraphim Wealth, an Atlanta-based registered investment advisory and wealth management firm. We are minority owned and operated, but that's not what makes us different. It's that we care about every client's ability to achieve their financial goals. This translates into actively managed investment strategies we customize for each client. It's also reflected in the education about money, estate planning, and wealth creation we provide our clients. Give us a call today and let's get your money working harder for you.
Have you ever wondered how Warren Buffett became rich? Or how the first mutual funds made their investors wealthy? How do you decide which companies to invest in? And when is the best time to invest? The Common Man Financial Guide contains all of that and more. Included are the techniques used by the most renowned financial experts demonstrating how to navigate in down as well as up markets, teaching you how to make money work for you. Don't delay. Order your copy today. Order information on screen.